Olá, esse é o Poder Entrevista. Eu sou Paulo Silva Pinto, editor sênior do Poder 360. Vou entrevistar o engenheiro eletrônico Chaouki Kasmi. Kasmi tem 39 anos, é mestre em sistemas integrados e em microeletrônica por instituições da França. É doutor em eletrônica pela Universidade Pierre-Marie Curie, também na França. É presidente de Tecnologia do Edge Group, indústria de defesa multinacional com sede em Abu Dhabi, nos Emirados Árabes, e produção em vários países, incluindo o Brasil. Dr. Kasmi, thank you very much for accepting the invitation for this interview.
Thank you very much.
Agradeço também a todos os web espectadores que assistem este programa. Esta entrevista está sendo gravada no estúdio do Poder 360 em Brasília, em 5 de março de 2025. A partir de agora, a entrevista será em inglês. Dr. Kasmi, cybersecurity has been your area of expertise for a long time. What are the main challenges regarding this issue in the defense industry today?
So thank you very much for the question, and thank you for having me today. So the cybersecurity is generally handled by the president of the cluster, Mr. Waid El-Masmari, that I have the chance to work with. So the cybersecurity domain is one of the strategic domains that Edge has been investing in for several reasons. First of all, because we are in a world that is going through a strategic transformation through the adoption of artificial intelligence. And of course, the digitalization of all the services and resources in terms of access, because the world is changing and is evolving. So with digitalization, with artificial intelligence, with hyperconnectivity, we can see the trend in cyber threats increasing as well.
I see. And well, still in cybersecurity, we move to artificial intelligence later, but still in cybersecurity, what are the concerns regarding cybersecurity today beyond the defense industry? Talking about smartphones and, well, of course, computers, personal computers and stuff.
I think we are going through the traditional threats. So you have the critical aspect of the confidentiality and privacy of information that attackers try to access to. You have critical access to banks and private personal data that we can observe as being the most targeted information. And as a defense industry, you can imagine that the protection of our critical assets and intellectual property is extremely important. We have seen during the last 10 years a lot of successful attacks against critical infrastructures. We saw the unfortunate use of cyber operations in different conflicts. So we can see that in terms of industry, in terms of individual security and cyber protection, I would say that we will see the continuous increase of cyber attacks against critical infrastructures and personal information systems continue to increase. And it means that technically speaking, we will need to continue to develop well-adapted security measures and protection for the resilience and the traditional confidentiality and availability of our critical resources.
Well, when we talk about cybersecurity, it's a kind of war, right, in itself. So there is attack and defense of systems. What is growing faster, the ability of defense of systems or the ability of attacking them by attackers, by hackers?
No, I think it depends where we look at in the value chain of critical infrastructures. We need to look at what type of information we are referring to. So offensive operations against critical infrastructures and military operations are things that we start to see being documented from the different conflicts. And we know that cyber operations have been conducted in different conflicts. Now, moving to more classical information and resources that attackers try to access to, we will see a continuous increase just by the simple nature of enabling and making accessible more and more critical information and critical services. So yes, it is a military domain, but it's also a domain that we see in our day-to-day life. We can see that accessing phones, accessing computers, accessing printers, smart TVs, entertainment, infotainment systems that we can have in cars and airplanes. So there are so many events and so many conferences, exhibitions where we can learn and see the different trends and the different activities related to offensive cybersecurity and defense activities as well. Shows us that the cyber domain is something extremely important, extremely dynamic, and from a technology perspective, we can see in the different organizations or the different communities and conferences that a lot of work is done in the offensive part with an objective, and this is something extremely important. We see more and more people performing security evaluation, security testing, presenting their work in the major cybersecurity and cyber defense events in the world, showing to the different parties, the different members, the different companies attending those events, that there is a way to identify security flaws. And there are so many ways to develop resilient and secure product if we follow the appropriate rules of engineering that are recommended in most of the international standards related to information security.
Okay, still in this day-to-day life challenges, some people are afraid that the camera of their smartphone or their TV in the living room could be accessing them, could be taken by attackers. Is there a real risk of this happening, or is it fantasy?
The answer is yes. There is a risk. There is a risk if we don't apply the basic rule of checking what we are installing on our TVs or on our phone. Generally, before installing application, we check the reputation of the mobile app developer. Before starting the TV, and this is something enabled by default on most of the information systems. The TV has to be updated regularly. When we receive messages on the phone, we don't click on links that don't make any sense. We check if the link is something related to something legit and not suspicious. So it's not about the technical challenge today. It's about increasing the awareness of people to understand that before using an information system, there are some specific basic rules and guidelines to follow in order to reduce the exposure and the threats. And this is extremely clear and well documented. I think that we in our group can provide such a list of guidelines. I think we have a document somewhere. I need to double check, but where we explain to people, at least for our staff today, we explain to all our employees that there are specific measures, specific guidelines to apply in order to reduce the risk of being hacked. And this is something that is applied commonly in the industry and all government entities in the world that have the right information security office. And of course, for individuals in general, the different government agencies are publishing the documents with the list of basic rules to apply in order to reduce the potential attacks from against their information systems. So professional-wise, it's something that became very well done in terms of the programming awareness. Now, for the general audience, the governments are generally publishing the guidelines to prevent attackers from accessing their information systems.
Perfect. Now, back to the defense industry. How can artificial intelligence change the defense industry today and in future?
Okay, so I can do two answers. One related to cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, and one fully dedicated to AI. So I will start with, just to close on the cyber defense, because I think that it's very interesting to mention that AI is coming with its own information security challenges. So being able to audit information systems enabled by artificial intelligence, being able to monitor the evolution of artificial intelligence engines when they continue their training while being deployed on critical systems. So AI is bringing a new set of challenges that, technically speaking, we are looking at in order to prevent AI becoming the security flow in critical infrastructure. So this is one. On the other hand, AI is a massive boost for innovation, in the sense that now we are using AI in a way that, and this is the defense industry and all critical industries. We could say the same for biotechnologies, healthcare. We could say the same for transportation. We could say the same for space application, agriculture, and all the critical domains or field that the audience might be interested in. At the end of the day, AI is a boost for several things. One, it's a boost in capability for research and development. Now, moving from a team of innovators within an organization, we boost the capabilities of the R&D teams to leverage AI to streamline and execute at a larger scale their research and development activities. And we can talk about researching on proteins, we can do researching on new medicines, we can do researching on new materials. So it's very diverse. It's all about how organizations are ready to adopt artificial intelligence in their processes and how they are able to leverage AI for their benefits. And here again, one of the interesting things for Edge Group is that we have put in place the AI Academy to train our staff to leverage, first to understand, and to understand how AI can boost their efficiency and their productivity. And this goes from sales and marketing to research and development, to the production staff, to the manufacturing staff, so quality management staff as well. So you can imagine that once you have an organization with the right level of awareness related to a specific domain. Today it's AI, tomorrow it will be quantum. You have your staff ready to understand the technology. You have the different capabilities to be deployed within your organization and the processes that you have. Then you are able to, in a very scaled way, you are able to boost your productivity, your innovation, your production, your delivery to customers with a factor X that today most of the organizations are not able to measure, because it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning in the adoption. We see so many tools, but the adoption is quite recent. And this is where at Edge we are doing two things. One is boosting our research and development capabilities using AI. And two, it's creating the right AI technology that will boost the efficiency of the defense technologies. And this is what we are very committed to as a strategic initiative that we are running currently at Edge Group. where AI will be a game changer, and is a game changer for the group today.
Could you give an example of how AI could be applied to defense gadgets or to defense industry as a whole, not just process, but products?
So one of the very straightforward example I can give is the product developed by our space company called FADA. The product is named Tactica. Tactica is a new situation awareness space-based intelligence platform providing analytics and analysis report reviews autonomously based on different type of sensors. So we talk about synthetic aperture radar, electro-optics, hyperspectral cameras, deployable systems on drones to collect information. All this information is fused in one location, and as an orchestrator, we have a generative AI, so large language model, to orchestrate the different toolboxes that have been developed for analytics, situation analysis, and recommendation for specific operations to the operation manager. So we are rethinking two things. We rethink the way we interact with technologies through generative AI. How are we able to make the information so simple that the absorption of the information by the operators is straightforward? We know that in operations, there is planning and there is execution. But in the execution, we need to be ready to react and change the plan because of the reality on the field. So we are creating the right amount of information with the right, the specific type of information that are so simple for an operator to absorb that he can make decisions on the spot. So this is one. And two, of course, is because we have massive amount of data. We are able to fuse data from so many sensors. We are able to increase our level of the amount of information we can have in hand to make decisions. But as we know, it's not because I increase the number of sensors that I will be able to have a better decision. And this is where AI is doing a very interesting work by really doing this pre-processing of information in order to fuse and provide to the operator again the right information that he will be interested in order to rethink the execution of a specific operation. So this is what Tactica is about, and our colleagues from FADA have been presenting this new product during IDEX 2025 here in Abu Dhabi.
Now, talking in broad terms, how is warfare changing?
I think that we need to realize that recent conflicts have shown us that intensive operations are the new reality. And because of that, we need to rethink if the defense technologies we are building are sufficient or should be supplemented with different technologies. And this is what at Edge we are currently doing without disclosing too much information due to the confidential programs that we have. In our organization, we look at what we call operation research. We are doing reviews of CONOPS. We are reviewing operations, documents that are published about real operation and real cases. All this amount of information. And again, we use artificial intelligence to absorb this amount of information and recreate a simple picture to us, to really make us understand what are the specific technologies that will be required for the successful missions of our end users. And this is how at Edge we grab the knowledge of our different presidents. I mentioned Waid al-Masmari before, but we do the same with Khaled al-Zaabi, with Saif al-Dahbashi. We are looking at bringing all the knowledge from the different domains, the different sensing capabilities, to really and the CONOPS and the operation reports that can be published to really rethink what could be the defense of tomorrow that we can develop today. And this is extremely important. And this is what we do with our colleagues from SIAT, one of the edge companies located in Brazil. This is what we do with Condor, with one of the another company that we have located in Brazil. Being in multiple locations, having knowledge from different places, having the experience from different parts of the world, understanding what's going on currently in different operations and fields is a source of information that we tend to collect and to understand, to really enable our end users to think about what could be their needs. And this is where Edge is committed to support the end users with the right amount of information, the right level of support to think the future of warfare and the future battlefield.
Now, can we imagine how is warfare and the battlefield, how is it going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now?
It will be fully autonomous. We need to agree on something. All defense, the defense industry is moving toward the integration of artificial intelligence in autonomous systems. The future of the battlefield will be autonomous. There will be a lot of automation. There will be a lot of platforms operating in swarm without having the need of the human in the loop. This is something where we need to start to be ready. And for that, we are doing three things. One is developing our AI capabilities. We are developing our autonomous systems, and we are also evaluating the ethic in AI when applied to the defense industry. So this is also something that we are one of the very few players in the defense industry looking at what are the security measures to prevent AI to go wrong at the wrong time. It can happen that AI could go wrong when it is during exercise. Then we can learn from failure and improve our protection measures. But we want to make sure that when AI is used in the defense industry, when the full autonomous systems will have to perform operations in heterogeneous swarm of platforms, we have the sufficient security measures to protect our end users and avoid, of course, like all the forces in the world, avoid collateral damage.
So when you say it will be fully autonomous, does it mean that there won't be men and women in the battlefield?
We will always have a woman and man in the battlefield. We will always have the soldiers on the ground. But whenever there is a way to avoid putting at risk human life, autonomous system will take the lead. And this is something extremely important. Battlefield have always been, sadly, the event or the moment of terrible losses. And one human lost is already a loss. Is already a huge and sad event. For us, we believe that we need to prevent those unnecessary casualties, and we need to try to create the right technologies to support our forces in this direction.
I see. Now, going towards the end of this interview, could you elaborate on what may be the consequences of technological changes in the balance of power between countries?
This is a more political question than a technical question, which I usually don't answer. But I think that there is something extremely simple that we can answer without going beyond my level of authority. I think that technologies are bringing tremendous support to the forces, and the technological advance is extremely important for the modern forces, specifically when the size of the forces are smaller than the opponent. we will continue to develop technologies and automated systems to support forces, because the technological advancement can make you win a war, or can you at least prevent you from losing the war. And in our case, we want to develop the technologies to make sure that our forces will never be put in a difficult situation.
Dr. Kasmi, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Agradeço também a todos os web espectadores que assistiram a este programa. Esta entrevista foi gravada no estúdio do Poder 360 em Brasília, em 5 de março de 2025. Para ficar sempre bem informado, inscreva-se no canal do Poder 360, ative as notificações e não perca nenhuma informação relevante. Muito obrigado e até a próxima.